there, viewers, and welcome back to Boston Boys with the Boston Boy Dr. Ben GFM. Now, I did suggest over the weekend that we were going to do a transfer stream, but it's been one of the weirder transfer windows we've ever had, so a stream didn't really make sense with the timing of when players came in and out. It's one of the weirder transfer windows, not as weird as Yuri Vorpayev from the Palmer days, but a bit of an odd one. I'm an icon now, though, so who cares? Me and Ryan Albayusu there, representing Marky Fletcher, favourite personnel. We're all loving life. He might not love it when he's not starting games this season. Like, he's still here, he's still happy, still improving. I mean, sort of. So let's cover in this episode then all of the transfers that we've brought in, as well as a few of the outs as well. Let's start with the outs then. Charlie Oliver's left, Jermaine Anderson, Aaron Akuma, Shinji Kagawa, as well as a couple of other players. Chris Lawrence was still here, by the way, a player that you might remember from a few seasons ago. He's still just been sort of in and around the corridors doing little bits of bits and bobs. And also, Callum Gribbin, it was reported over the weekend that he may well have retired from football altogether due to injury, which is very, very sad. A player that served us well in his 3 years with us. You might think, why aren't we keeping him on? You'll see in a moment as to why. But yeah, Callum Gribbin off to Southend as we let him go. I'm sure he'll do okay. League 2 football for him. I don't know, I still think he could probably play in League 1. But regardless, he's left. And a whole host of outs there. We've not sold anyone for money, which is always disappointing, but it doesn't really matter all too much. We've got quite a few wages actually off the wage bill. Callum Gribbin was on an awful lot, so was Shinji Kagawa. So we've replaced them, but replaced them better, I think. And you can immediately see then when we bring up this screen, oh, look at that. So much going on. Lots of familiar faces, whether they be world stars or whether they be returning players who have been here before. Let's start, though. These are in sort of time order. Let's start with Charlie Dale from Bury on loan. And I do think we've got ourselves a decent striker to play. Maybe second field to Marky Fletcher, or be certainly in and amongst the strikers this season. As I've got sort of 3 to pick from this year, maybe even 4 actually. But yeah, Charlie Dale on loan from Bury. He's got very, very good dribbling and first touch. Fantastic physical attributes as well, and decent enough mentals. Finishing a little bit lacklustre, but has scored goals at this level before. Not for a couple of seasons with Bury, but maybe in a side that create more chances. This could be his chance. Last year, played in the Championship, got 6 goals. Maybe League One's more his level, so hopefully we can get some good performances out of him. A returning figure then in Rob France. We're going to probably use him as a backup right back. Sorry, you know, he left us once before, and I've not forgotten. But very, very good marking. Tackling's very good too. Physically fantastic for a right back, and his mentals aren't too bad either. As I say, left to go to Crystal Palace for a massive fee. Thank you, Crystal Palace, for that. Then was loaned out to Oldham, did nothing, and now he's back at us. Football Manager, everyone, welcome. But I do think he's a good defender, and it'd be nice to have as a backup really this season. Okay, well, this is the name you were all drawn to very early. He's 37. He's been capped 118 times, and his name is Arturo Vidal. Welcome to Boston United. Phrases you probably didn't know you did expect them when you started this series. You knew exactly what I was capable of. The mentals are quite good, aren't they? Very aggressive, very determined, and welcome. If we just ignore the physicals, look, who does it matter? We'll find out if it matters, won't we? I don't know if it matters yet. He's had quite a decorated career though. Started with Colo Colo in Chile. Aside that, actually, if you play Football Manager a lot, look for their regens. They can be very good. Colo Colo's regens. Bayer Leverkusen, then to Juventus, Bayern Munich, and then more recently, of course, we know Barcelona. In game, went to is that Palmeiras? I think it is. Yes, Palmeiras for a couple of seasons. Last year for them, played 33 games, and now joins Boston in League One for free. He's on 3.5k a week. He retires next year, so it shouldn't be too bad. And he can play everywhere. So if we're in trouble in any scenario, he can play there. But of course, he will be playing in the deep line playmaker role, just behind our 2 central midfielders and just in front of our back 4. So Arturo Vidal, welcome to Boston United. I wonder if he's getting here by helicopter every day. Now, while we're on retro midfielders who have still got something to offer, let's quickly go to Joe Allen, who, of course, you'll be familiar with. They're not the quickest. The pair of them, they're not at their peak in terms of speed, but neither player relied on speed too much. It's about creativity, graft, and technical attributes. And I think Joe Allen's first touch, passing, work rate, teamwork, all going to be very important in midfield such as ours. He's been around a little bit since he left Liverpool. Of course, we bought him from Swansea initially. Stoke had him for a little bit. Loaned out to Braga. Huddersfield, Millwall, and Real Valladolid. It's a strange history. Anyway, he's now at Boston United. Joe Allen, welcome. He will start originally, and then if we find it doesn't really work, then we'll change him out for someone else, someone like Connor Kirby, who will come back into the side. But I do think experience is going to be important, and we've got a lot of it now, which is nice. Someone who's not particularly experienced, though, is another signing we've made, 200,000 from Tranmere. Now, James Wardle is the guy in question. His dribbling isn't so good, all right? It's fair enough. We can all see that. But his passing, technique, flair, and off-the-ball attributes, as well as his acceleration, are very, very good. Not necessarily going to be someone that starts games, but maybe comes on late doors. Maybe if we're controlling a game as well, he can come on and just continue to keep it ticking along, or come on and make an impact. That passing and technique, something I really, really like. Flair as well. Decision-making is particularly good. To play behind a couple of strikers, maybe to play just off the striker if we play a one, or even to drop deeper into the midfield. Currently out for 4 weeks with a twisted ankle, so won't see much of him today or tomorrow. But yeah, James Wardle, welcome to Boston United. I like what we've done here. Now, we mentioned striking options, and this guy might be the guy. On loan from Southampton, Joe Gelhardt. I think you'd say it like that. It's like a D and a T to come hard, right? Joe Gelhardt, welcome to the team. A real person in real life. Starts off at Wigan. Southampton bought him. He's had a few loan spells and has scored goals for Luton at League One level. So I figured to get him in, he might do a job for us. Previously as well, scored goals for Exeter in the Championship. So yeah, I do think we've got ourselves a decent player. Composure and off the ball, both at 13, which is pretty good. Great dribbling for finishing and first touch. I really like those two attributes. And very, very quick off the mark as well with high agility. So I think in terms of strikers that we need to sort of break lines and make an impact maybe off the bench, we didn't really have that last year. We had slow spells for Leary and Fletcher. So I think having a guy like this in, who may well be our starting striker going forward, with Marky Fletcher sort of playing second fiddle to him. Yeah, Joe Gelhardt, welcome everyone, welcome. He's not got a song. We could try this. It's not worked. I've pressed it. It's right. Hello, can we... All right, we've gone through the first 6 or so, and there's 4 more to go. So 10 transfers. The first one I'm going to go to actually is Marcus Maddison, who you probably do recognise if you play Football Manager in the lower leagues. He becomes available an awful lot, it feels like. Previously of Peterborough, started at Newcastle, Hull City have had him as well, Norwich and Birmingham. He's basically had a lot of clubs in a short space of time, and I think out on that left-hand side, he could provide quite good service. Will Ferry, of course, who we had last year, left, then was released, I think it was, by Southampton, and has joined another club, so thank you. What we like to call that around here is the... who did that? It was Kasinga Medea, wasn't it? The Kasinga Medea syndrome, where you leave and then decide, no, I'm finished here now, and that'll be that. It's very heartbreaking, viewers, it is. You'll notice as well our attribute colours. I've put them on what you would probably be using at home in terms of playing with the best attribute colours, just to see how they would compare to some of the sides that have come down. QPR and Norwich have joined us in League One. It seems unfair. But Marcus Maddison can play at either side as well. I like him a lot. I think he could be a fine addition to the side. I don't know if he'll start every game, but he'll certainly be a factor this year with some really nicely well-rounded attributes. Don't let all these sort of white 11s deceive you. Now, Chris Stevens has come in from Fulham, and he's the most likely player to be out on that left-hand side, and probably the most exciting transfer, or one of, maybe not the most exciting. I'm saving him. £155,000, though. Hasn't played a lot of first-team football, but I do think investing in the future a little bit, something we've not really had the opportunity to do. Only a 2-year contract, so I hope to get him on another contract if things go well, but I like the look of him a lot. You can see left-footed, left-sided player, very, very quick, great physical attributes, crossing, dribbling, very good, bravery, very good as well, and I expect him fully to improve this season. Yeah, he could be a little bit of a star in this side, and I'm hoping he will be. And I've just noticed as well, and we'll do this while we're here. In terms of training, I'd quite like to for him to knock the ball in front of him as he dribbles with it, which I do believe it's either movement or technique. I can't remember now. I think it might be this one. Is it? Touches ball in front. Sorry, viewers, I really should have planned it. There it is. Yeah, knock the ball in front of you while taking players on. I would like him to do that. I do think that's one trait this year that's really, really powerful in Football Manager. So yeah, Chris Stevens, get to know him. We'll see an awful lot of him. He's like George Penny 2.0, but with probably a higher ceiling. 2 more to go then. Dion Conroy is the first of those, and another actual signing for actual money. 28 years of age. We bought him from Bury, who had him last season and didn't really use him in the Championship, but I think could be a really good addition to this side. Decent passing at 11, but really it's those defensive attributes that you're looking for. Heading, marking, tackling, very good. Work rate's fantastic as well. Positioning a little bit of a concern, but overall, mentally and physically, pretty solid. 6'1" as well, and yeah, he knows this division quite well. He's played in League One a couple of times, as I say, as well as the Championship, and of course starts off at Chelsea very early in his career. Not on this year's game, I must say, but in previous years. So Chelsea fans, you may well recognise him. So here he is, Dion Conroy. Welcome. A lot of names in this side that are easy to say. Let's test that with the final one. Now, I assume it's Sindri Johansson, and you're already excited, aren't you, viewers? Our reputation hasn't gone up that much, but to sign an Icelandic international, very excited. On a 3-year deal as well, it must be said, from Stjarnan in Iceland. If you're from Iceland, you probably know it more than I do. They don't play a massive amount of games, but a 7.66 last season from midfield without scoring or assisting too many goals. Sindri comes in as our new central midfielder. Of course, you've seen them. You've seen Joe Allen and you've seen Vidal, and you've thought, do they run though, Ben? No, they don't. But Sindri Johansson, he's a man that does. Look at him there, 16 acceleration, great stamina, fantastic determination, 22 years of age with good first touch and long shots are good too, vision, work rate. As far as central midfielders go, the only thing he's really lacking is maybe a bit of composure and his dribbling, and we can maybe work on those this season. But yeah, Sindri Johansson, definitely my most exciting player this season, potentially my best player in the team straight away as he comes in, and yeah, won't need to do tackling. Vidal's behind him, it'll be fine. So squad-wise, this is what we're working with. If we change it to position, you can see that Callum Burton will still be our goalkeeper this year. But we've got a lot of nice options now. Midfield options all over the place. Striking options as well as wide players now, of course. Maybe another right-sided player is the only thing we're lacking. But Dale can play there. Gelhardt can play there as well. So it's not a complete disaster. And even Dobra stays in the team for now. Looking at system then, we're going to stick with something that we used last year. And hopefully with the players that we've got, a few little role changes as well. I noticed that our team are knackered. I do know why. We'll touch on why in a moment. This is a bad situation. Tomorrow's episode with our games tomorrow is looking a little bit scary now. I mean, we've got fit players on the... You'll see why. And Conroy's not even registered for the league yet, so this is going well. But Burton in goal then. McCarthy will be our right back. Rob France, of course, is deputy. Conroy, Raggett and Seddon at left back. Steve Seddon keeps his spot at left back for now. And George Cantrell still at the club. Unbelievable, really. Vidal, Joe Allen and Sindri Johansson in the centre. Alabiusi one side. Of course, we've got Chris Stevens, the new boy, on the left. And Gelhardt will play through the middle. Now, this is my ideal 11. If we're going to play an 11 regularly, this is what I would like it to be. I realise now that when we're going to play matches tomorrow, this is a situation with a lot of fitness concerns. A lot of the old boys are just going to have to play, aren't they? I can see now. I did say I knew why. This is why. We've basically played a season already. It was financial, viewers. What can I tell you? City in there, United, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Lincoln. But yes, we've done okay in some of the friendlies. We've not beaten any of the big names, and a draw against Lincoln not particularly good. We've lost all the games that you would largely expect us to lose, and then we've gone unbeaten in the rest of them. So that's not too bad, really. But we have already played on the 3rd of August. How many games is this? It's 13, viewers. I've played 13 matches already, and it's only the 3rd of August. It's not perfect. I had to see if Vidal could run, viewers. That was important. And you can see 1.2 million in the balance. How much have we made from gate receipts so far? I'm now intrigued. See, gate receipts, we've already made 744,000. We made 3.5 million last year. We're flying, viewers. Of course, we are set to move, well, I say move back into our stadium. We're already playing in it, but it could be completed on the 7th of September. They're upgrading the stadium a little bit, a few more seats to be popped in there. So that's quite exciting. In terms of the league this year, then, what are our hopes and expectations? Well, I would like to, at the very least, finish in the playoffs. I think after last year, it's certainly something we should be aiming for. The bookies don't necessarily agree, but you can see there, Norwich, 2-1 favourites, odds on to get promoted. They've got some really, really good players, and I don't think it's fair, particularly. Millwall, Rotherham, Bolton, QPR, Bury, Peterborough, Portsmouth, and Exeter, all fancied more than we are. But we know these Boston boys, they produce wonderful things, and hopefully this season will be their season. Of course, we're pushing for those playoffs. Maybe even one of the automatic spots. You never know. 18-1. It's not too bad. And I do think team-wise, I mean, we're looking pretty good. You look at all of this here. We've got some really nice players. Vidal, of course, a standout name. The fact we've got him at Boston is still a bit bizarre to me. And Johansson as well. Definitely going to be a star of this side. Overall, with the squad, I'm pretty happy. Is there an area in which you think we lack a little bit? I think maybe centre-back. It must be said as well, just before we finish, that the transfer window hasn't actually quite closed yet. So I've still got a week or so to do a few bits of business, and that's what we'll focus on tomorrow. Playing Blackpool in our first game, and then the rest of the transfer window to see if we can get any late additions, whether they be loanees or full-time transfers. Hopefully that was a good enough roundup for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and you look forward to a full week of Boston at 5 PM every single day this week. Now, we love with care from Expansion. Until next time, I'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye. Marky Fletcher. He might not play anymore. I don't know.